in research in behavior genetics, can become difficult to actually specify what a cultural influence is. So, for example, there's a very consistent finding in the psychological literature that kids whose parents do not supervise them very well turn out to be more at risk for aggressive and antisocial behavior. So this idea that parental monitoring can have some kind of relationship to antisocial behavior is a very well replicated finding. However, you have to question whether that's truly a cultural influence or whether it could be masking some sort of a genetic risk factor as well. For example, you might consider that parents who don't supervise or parent their kids very well might themselves have risk for being antisocial. And so they may have in fact passed on this risk for antisocial behavior to their offspring through a genetic mechanism rather than through a cultural one. So it turns out to be very difficult to specify exactly when something is a cultural influence. But I can tell you that in our research we have found that socioeconomic factors, for example, are definitely related to aggressive and antisocial behavior. Kids who are raised in lower socioeconomic levels, families that have less education and lower levels of income, are at more risk for antisocial and aggressive behaviors. But again, you have to ask yourself whether that's truly an environmental effect or if that's just mimicking some genetic differences that might exist between those parents.